Today I will talk about sample size calculations for analysis of diagnostic tests. This is fifth lecture of my series of lectures on sample size calculation. This is the reference book from where I have taken sample size formulae. This is another reference from I have taken many of the formulae for sample size estimation. This is a very interesting article. This is the lecture outline. First I will talk about the sensitivity and specificity and sample size calculations based on these. Then I'll talk about likelihood ratio and sample size estimation for likelihood ratio. Then I'll talk about the sample size for area under the curve for single situation and for two diagnostic tests. In a diagnostic studies in which the test yields dichotomized outcome, positive or negative result, the accuracy is evaluated by sensitivity, specificity, likelihood ratios, and area under the curve. The gold standard may be another test which is assumed to be without errors. The gold standard may be more expensive diagnostic method or invasive method, or it can be the combination of tests that may be available in clinical follow-up, surgical verification, autopsy, and biopsy, or by panel of experts. Sensitivity and specificity, these two measures determine the inherent ability of diagnostic test as compared to a dichotomized gold standard. They are not influenced by probability of disease or prevalence in population. The sensitivity indicates the proportion of disease subjects with positive test results, whereas the specificity determines the proportion of non-disease subjects with negative test results. Since sensitivity or specificity is a proportion, so we can use the same formula which we have used for sample size estimation for single proportion. Only thing is we need to incorporate the prevalence in the denominator. So this is the sample size formula for sensitivity. This is a sample size formula for specificity. This is an example I have taken from this journal for a screening test where sensitivity is more important. So the sensitivity from literature is 80%. Find the sample size with 95% confidence and absolute margin of error as 7%, taking prevalence of disease at 10%. So if we fit all these values in this formula, we get a sample size of 1,254 subjects. Now sample size for comparing the sensitivity or specificity of two diagnostic tests. There can be two situations. One is unpaired situation, where this formula gives us number of cases in each group, and the other is the paired situation. So for paired situation, there is a complex calculation involved. Viewers are referred to this article. So example here is, suppose one wishes to compare the sensitivity of two alternative diagnostic tasks, where the null hypothesis is that both the sensitivities are equal and alternate hypothesis is that they are not equal. The sample size would one need to have 95% confidence and 80% power to detect a difference of 10% from sensitivity of 70% can be calculated by using this formula, and the sample size is 293. Now, little bit about likelihood ratio. The sensitivity and specificity can be combined as one-dimensional index that is called likelihood ratio. Likelihood ratio for diagnostic test can be positive or negative. The positive likelihood ratio is the ratio of probability of positive test in diseased to non-diseased. The positive likelihood ratio is the ratio of sensitivity to 1 minus specificity. The negative likelihood ratio is the ratio of probability of negative test in diseased to non-diseased. The negative likelihood ratio is the ratio of 1 minus sensitivity to specificity. So the positive likelihood ratio, this is the formula. If it is more than 10, then we can conclude that the likelihood of disease is very strong. So it is for ruling in the disease. Unlike predictive values, likelihood ratio is not affected by prevalence of the disease in population. This is about negative likelihood ratio. This is the formula. A negative likelihood ratio less than zero point 0.1 means excellent test for ruling out the disease. So purpose is it allows clinicians to update pre-test probability to post-test probability. For example, if a highly likely disease, according to clinical judgment, results in a negative test with a very low NLR, that is maybe less than 0.1, the probability of the disease drops significantly. While negative predictive value depends on disease prevalence, the negative likelihood ratio is generally independent of it. So, the higher value of positive likelihood ratio corresponds with greater information of positive test result, while the lower value of negative likelihood ratio is associated with more information of negative test results. A test with higher positive likelihood ratio has a greater value of rule in the disease, while a test with lower value of negative likelihood ratio has a higher value of rule out the disease. So this is the formula for estimating the confidence interval of likelihood ratio. We need log transformation to make the values normal. We can rearrange the equation to get the sample size. N1 and N2 denote sample size for diseased and non-diseased. If we assume that both are equal, then this is the sample size on the basis of positive likelihood ratio. And this is the sample size on the basis of negative likelihood ratio. For example, from a previous study where sensitivity was 0.8 and specificity was 0.7, from these two, we calculate the likelihood ratio, positive likelihood ratio of 2.96. Assuming equal number of disease and non-disease subjects, calculate the sample size so that 95% of time, positive likelihood ratio is greater than 2. So we substitute positive likelihood ratio in this equation here as 2, and we substitute the sensitivity and specificity and assume that N1 is equal to N2, we get a sample size of 74 for each group. That is 74 disease and 74 non-diseased. Then sample size on the basis of area under the curve, which is a marker of accuracy. ROC analysis is for a quantitative test or for a test where the results are recorded on ordinal scale. So for a random classifier or a test without any diagnostic value, we get a straight line, state ROC curve. And if the curve is like this, the blue one here, the test is better in diagnosis. So since the sensitivity is inversely related to specificity, the plot of sensitivity versus 1 minus specificity is called receiver operating characteristic curve. And the area under the curve is an effective measure of accuracy. The area under the curve for blue is very high as compared to green and orange, and this straight red line is of zero diagnostic importance. So RSC curve shows the trade-off between sensitivity and specificity, and AUC is considered as an index of accuracy. Sample size calculation for single ROC. This is very similar to the sample size calculation for single proportion. We just need the variance here and the D is the absolute error margin, and variance can be calculated using this formula here as given by Hanley and McNeil. This is the same formula, and here Q1 is defined as this and Q2 is defined as this. Variance can also be written as this form where R is equal to the ratio of N2 and N1. This is according to the binormal assumption. Here the variance is given by this equation, and we can just assume N2 and N1 as equal. We can then simplify this equation. So sample size for single AUC, this is the shortcut approach. So we just calculate A, B and C, where P is the prevalence of positive cases or disease, and SE goal is our goal of standard error. So we just need to calculate the n from this quadratic equation where n is equal to this. So this I have taken from this online calculator. These are the values, and if we substitute these values and we calculate A, B and C, and on the basis of the solution of the quadratic equation, we get n is equal to 254. Now, when we need to compare the AUC of two diagnostic tests, there are two situations, paired situation and unpaired or independent situation. In case of paired situation, we need to know the covariance between the two area under the curve. Whereas when the situation is independent, that is the data is unpaired, in a case two diagnostic tasks do not apply on the same subjects, then the two AUCs are independent and the equation can be written as this. Whereas this AUC under H0, this AUC under H0 is the average of AUC1 and AUC2. So this is how we can calculate using the previous formula for the variance of AUC which I have described. This is all for today. Thank you very much.